imagine that.
It's really the total opposite. When anyone enters our studio, that's when the work begins. That's when we really get cranky. Enter our studio. And a lot of times, we enjoy just that whole idea of painting and not thinking about it. To me, personally, I don't know if it's a personal challenge or not, but by being in a situation like this, it forces us as artists not to think about what we're doing. So subconsciously, we're just creating. So we know that, all you guys are looking at us. So I'm kind of thinking about, my surroundings versus focusing so much on the painting, which, if you, read a lot about artists, sometimes, or writers as well, we overanalyze, we overthink what we're doing. Before you know it, you're over-creating and so forth. But in this type of situation, we're forced not to do that. So really the work has freshness to it, has a spontaneity to it that really makes the work, I guess, in my opinion, much stronger and, I guess, in a certain way, more genuine.
How do you collaborate on these smaller canvases?
That's an interesting question. Every piece is a collaboration in some kind of form. A lot of times my brother may start a piece and finish it all the way to completion, and I may just add a touch here or there, or I may do all of the piece, and my brother just may say that looks good, and sign his name. Every piece is unique in its collaborative structure, so to speak, and it's not always, especially in the smaller pieces, which is understandable, but it's kind of like we, not to kind of say like it, but it's like I kind of look at it as like a job, and we're kind of just working together.
You tell he's the business major, right?
No, but seriously, it's kind of look at it as a job, and it's just something that we do.
But art, to us, it's really just
a labor of love.
To a certain degree, it is, a job, but it's a labor of love. We're working, and we're letting the paint work with us, and we're working against the materials that we're using and so forth. So it's really, like my brother said, I guess to a certain degree, it's work, but not in the negative sense of the word. Work.
No, not negative at all.
Obviously, when one of you has a vision of something with figures in it, there's got to be a little bit of collaboration prior to. Is there a stage that you're not telling us about?
Like I said earlier, we're not going to give away all the secrets. No, but I'm listening to that question, and I'm still comprehending exactly what you're saying about having a figure in the work. You assume that you have to talk about it.
The compositions are so exciting and interesting, but it can't be handled free form as much.
I agree. I would agree. but seriously, when a figure or something else involved, or when a figure do evolve in a painting, it's still the same process. My brother may start it forming something or some type of figurative image in the work, and I just follow, his lead, or I may do the same thing, and he'll just follow my lead, which, I may start doing right now. Segue.
You said you enjoy painting in front of other people. Is your studio open to the public?
Yes and no. But we have a studio. Actually, we have two studios downtown. Marshall Arts. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Marshall Arts. On Marshall Street, downtown, Marshall Avenue, downtown, Memphis. And our studio's open. Like I said, if anyone stops by, we'll get more work to done. Feel free. And by the way, we're going to have, I guess, our artist bio and resume for you guys to have something to take back with you, and maybe we'll have some cards and things with all of our studio information and everything available. So,
speaking of that, we do have a website. It's called lyntwin.com. It's our last name, Lynn, L-Y-N-N, Twin, T-W-I-N.
speaking of, figurative elements or, starting to form some type of structure to the piece is, we say this often, but it really is inspired by our family and growing up in the South, growing up, in the country, really. Hearing those stories subconsciously, they still, resonate with us now. And I think the older we get, the more we appreciate the heritage and, the history of this area and, the whole tradition and all those stories that you really feel. You feel the stories as you live in this Mid-South area. And really that's hopefully what kind of comes through the work. And, we always talk about, painting something or, sometimes we talk about painting a different subject matter versus the Southern subject and so forth, but for some reason it always tends to pop back up in our work as we create. So I guess that's the paint leading us, and I don't know if that's always a good thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing either.
So how about commission work? Do you do that?
Yes, we do. We've done a lot of commissioning. Working on.
I mean, where somebody gives you an idea of what they'd like to have, or does that interfere with your creative?
Normally, the commissions that we've done lately, I guess the particular client who wants a commission sees our work and they like what, I guess, the style that we work in or the particular subject matter. And a lot of times they leave the artistic, I guess, creation up to us. They may, mention something that they like, a certain subject that they've seen in some prior work and so forth. But most commissions that we've done have been very open and it's just been a blessing that they like what they saw once you got finished. But yeah, they normally leave it pretty open, and I think that's kind of how we prefer to work, And I think the work kind of speaks for itself in that kind of way as well. It's kind of hard to just ask for a particular thing because our work is so just free-forming and just kind of going here and there a lot of times. So.
Do you ever have quarrels like one turns to the other and says, "You messed up my painting"?
When we were younger, I would say maybe. To be honest, no, we've never. Like we had said earlier, we've never really argued over the painting, our painting and working process. We've argued about some things but it wasn't painting. A lot of times, we just go in the studio and just create. But painting is something that I guess I don't. It's just painting. So. But yeah, it's really no mistake. And I think that's something, as students, I know you said it's a class here now, but that's one thing that, you really, there's no mistakes when it comes to art and what we're doing. It's all creative. And yes, there's really no mistakes involved. And really, that's just our working process. If we were an artist who did realistic portraits and so forth, it would be a different story or something like that, which we have done portraits, but I don't know, we don't argue. We never grew up arguing, and I guess it's not a good time to start.